Told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A apostrophe A-L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not. This is what people perceive the Illuminati to be.
What is this channel? Another Lady Babylon spawn? Shut up, Martha, and eat your chicken. We're going to learn about the cult of Baal today, and we're going to see what the texts say, and we're going to see where we can make some connections, all right? Now, getting to Baal, think of Baal like Kurios in the Greek Bible. Kurios doesn't mean Yahweh, or it means Yahweh later on. It usually just means Lord or feudal Lord or master or something like that. Baal's the same thing. It just means master or Lord. And there were many Baals. There was the Baal of Tyre, the Baal of Ugarit, the Baal Hammon from Carthage, Baal Zeus. So during those times, if you went to like an Eminem concert, you would have to say, would the real Baal please stand up? So what ends up happening is the Greeks call him Belos. He gets translated into Belos, and then he gets folded into the Greek myth history. He becomes a ruler in Egypt, blah, blah, blah. Something important though, he turns into Beelzebub, who turns into Satan. So this Baal character eventually is what we come to know as Satan in Christian theology later. That's very important to remember. Now this is the key idea for the whole video. This is what happened when Greeks encountered foreign gods, because obviously they didn't leave him alone. They had to sort of embrace them in some way, shape, or form. So they translated them. So you ask, like, what Greek god does this function like? They would ask themselves, and they would say, big sky god Zeus, old ruling titan Cronos, love goddess Aphrodite. Which one did it match most? And for Baal, Zeus matched. So they weren't saying the gods were literal identical. They were just mapping roles and status and power. So when you see Greek text talking about something like Zeus Belos, or equating some of these Near Eastern gods with Cronos, it's not random. They're doing this. There's a reason they're doing this. I'm going to run through these really quick. You guys can stop the video if you want to read it. This is in chronological order. So Temple of Zeus, you can see it's already being used here in Herodotus as a temple, and it's used for refuge in wars. So that's a pretty big deal. So if there's a takeaway from all this is that the Greeks are already rendering Baal as Zeus Belos. He's not foreign, but he's definitely mapped into the Greek theology already. This is again Herodotus. Now it starts, getting weird in a good way though, because he doesn't just stay a temple god. He eventually shows up in genealogies. He starts showing up in family trees and some royal origin stories. Hesiod, as you see, talks about daughters of Belos. Aeschylus will go on to trace ancestries through him. Now, Apollodorus straight up says Belos ruled Egypt and fathered dynasties. And then he connects them to Phoenicia, Europa, and Cadmus. So at this point, Baal isn't just marginal. He's being written into the backbone of Mediterranean history. Ananias says the idol is the mute Belos and Zeus, and the Greeks revered it. Okay, so they're basically saying that the Greeks worshipped Bel or Baal as Zeus. As you can see, Cronos worship appears in the same Near Eastern setting where Baal figures appear in Greek sources. So that tells you that Greeks didn't just equate Baal with Zeus. In the Syrian context, they were also talking about Cronos shrines and Belos dynasties, literally side by side. So this right here is the bombshell. So not only is Baal being worshipped as a god, but he's explicitly renamed Cronos. And what else? This is the name of Saturn. Cronos is the name of Saturn. So this is huge because we have all these connections now. Now, what are they saying about this god in particular? I mean, we're going to look at the next source, and this is where it all ties it together. Alright, this is where everything we've looked at finally locks together, because we started with Greek writers equating Baal with Zeus. We saw Near Eastern genealogies where Belos shows up inside Greek myth history. We watched Byzantine chronicles describe Cronos shrines in Syria, but here this is the heavyweight closer. This is Porphyry, pagan philosopher, no biblical axe to grind, and he says that during wars, plagues, and famines, the Phoenicians sacrificed their most beloved people to Cronos, where he tells us exactly where that information came from. A Phoenician author named Sancho Neathon translated it into Greek by Philo of Byblos, and another Greek author, Istris, and this adds to the Cretans once did the same thing. So now, when we put it all together, Greeks equate Baal with Zeus, Greeks place Cronos worship with Syrian territory, and these traditions describe sacrifice to Cronos. So does Jeffrey Epstein follow this cult? It appears that way. Boom! So having said that, this all makes sense to me, that Baal eventually turns into Satan, and all these Abrahamic religions later developed in the same myth environment while taking over many of the same roles that those gods once already held, though without necessarily like preserving their cult name. And then obviously they take over their cult and they say, oh, you guys are the bad ones. You know what I mean? Like, Amen says this a lot. He'll say stuff like Judaism and Christianity are Bacchic satanic worship. And I guess now, you know, I can't prove Saturn and Satan are the same word, or this etymologically, like I can't make that connection yet. I'm sure it's there, but I can certainly make the connection historically, which I think I did just now, and I get it. You know, I get why he calls it satanic worship. And well, tell me what you guys thought. You liked the video, leave a like and a subscribe. See you in the next one.